Case File '07, The Lights That Followed You, say. Classification, unresolved. Location, Northern Nevada. Status, active. Section 1, the first appearance. It started on a road that barely showed up on maps. 3 friends, Mara, Eli, and Jordan, were driving through northern Nevada, taking the long way home after a music festival. It was past 1 a.m. when they left the last gas station behind. No cars, no houses, no signs of life besides the endless stretch of desert on both sides. The sky was moonless, heavy with clouds. Their headlights cut a narrow path through the blackness. Mara was driving when she first noticed it. A pair of lights appeared behind them, far in the distance. 2 white orbs, faint but steady. "Someone's coming up on us," she murmured. Jordan looked through the back window. "Finally. I thought we were the last people alive out here." But something about the lights felt wrong. They were too bright for how far away they were, too sharp, too perfectly spaced, and they didn't bounce the way headlights normally do on uneven highway. The beams didn't rise or fall, didn't flicker, didn't respond to the road. They just floated. Eli leaned forward. "Maybe it's a truck." "Maybe," Mara said, though she didn't believe it. She increased speed. The lights stayed the same distance behind them. She slowed. They slowed. She switched lanes even though the highway was empty. The lights shifted perfectly with her. Eli whispered, "It's pacing us." When Mara turned the next bend in the highway, the lights disappeared. Jordan exhaled. "Okay. Weird, but it's gone." But when the road straightened, the lights appeared again, this time closer. No engine, no sound, just those 2 white orbs floating silently behind them like eyes in the dark. Mara tried to shake it off. Probably some idiot messing with us. But then the impossible happened. The lights rose vertically into the air smooth, controlled like something lifting itself off the ground. They hovered 15 feet above the road, the glow intensifying. The shape behind the lights still hidden in the black. Jordan's voice trembled. "That's not a car." The lights blinked off, then reappeared. Closer. Too close. Mara slammed the gas, and the car lurched forward. The desert blurred on both sides. The highway seemed to stretch forever. And yet, the lights stayed with them, matching their speed, perfectly silent. It was the first moment any of them thought, "We might die on this road." Section 2, the highway blockade. They drove at nearly 90, but the lights remained just behind the car, floating and shifting like some predator stalking prey. "Maybe it's a drone," Jordan said, breath shaking. "Drones don't do that," Eli muttered. The lights blinked out, again vanishing so completely that Mara thought they were finally gone. Then something appeared in front of the car. A shape, huge, blocking the entire highway. Mara screamed and jerked the wheel. The car swerved off the road into the dirt, but somehow stayed upright. Dust filled the air as they skidded to a stop. "What the hell was that?" Jordan shouted, hyperventilating. They scrambled out, coughing, the cold desert air rushing in. But the highway was empty. No shape, no vehicle, just darkness. "It was tall," Eli whispered. "Like 12 feet. Maybe more." Mara shivered violently. We imagined it. Has to be. But the ground said otherwise. 2 perfect circles were burned into the asphalt ahead. Smooth, precise, glowing faintly red, as though they were still hot. Jordan stepped back. No way a car did that. Eli knelt beside one of the circles. It's melted. Before anyone could process it, a low hum rumbled across the desert. Mara spun around. The lights were back, only no longer behind them. They were above them, hovering 20 feet in the air, dead silent, bright enough to cast long shadows across the desert floor. The lights tilted downward as though looking at them. Jordan whispered, "Guys, get in the car." They ran. Mara turned the key, engine screaming to life. But something wasn't right. The lights split apart, separating, drifting to either side of the car, like something circling them. Eli's voice cracked. "Drive, Mara. Drive now." She hit the gas. The car shot forward across the dirt, rejoining the highway. The lights moved with them, keeping pace effortlessly. But now they could see more. Behind each glowing orb was a faint outline, like some massive figure cloaked in darkness. Long limbs, tall, too tall. Its movements slow, deliberate, intelligent. Whatever it wasn't made of metal. And it wasn't human. Section 3, the thing in the rear view. They didn't speak for a full minute, too terrified to do anything but stare at the road and the pale beams of their headlights. Mara gripped the wheel so hard her fingers went numb. "We can make it to the next town," she muttered. "We just have to keep going." But Eli wasn't looking forward. He was looking at the rear-view mirror. "Mara," he whispered. "It's getting closer." She didn't want to look. She forced herself to anyway. The lights were right behind them now, so close they washed the back seat in blinding white. But the shape behind the light was becoming clearer, an outline of something impossibly tall. Long arms swaying, legs bending at wrong angles as it ran silently alongside the car. Jordan ducked down. "It's following us on foot." Eli grabbed the handle above his seat, knuckles white. "No, it's not running. It's gliding." The lights suddenly blinked out. Darkness swallowed them. Mara slammed the brakes. Jordan screamed. The car fishtailed. Headlights sliced across the desert. When they came to a stop, the road behind them was empty. Eli pressed his forehead to the dashboard, exhaling shakily. "Is it gone?" Jordan swallowed. "I don't trust that for a second." They sat in silence. Then, tap, tap, tap. Something knocked on the back window. 3 slow taps, like knuckles. Mara didn't turn around. She couldn't. Every muscle froze. Eli's breath hitched. Jordan whimpered. Another tap. Eli forced himself to look. There was no one outside, but hovering inches above the trunk were 2 bright white circles headlights, suspended in midair, moving closer to the glass. Jordan sobbed. "Go, go." Mara floored it. The car leapt forward. The lights dropped away, but only for a moment. They reappeared, closer, and this time they weren't alone. Dozens more lights flickered into existence in the desert. Around them, pairs and pairs and pairs of them, rising, falling, approaching. A swarm, a herd, a gathering of things that should not exist. And every one of them was heading toward the car. Section 4, the last transmission. Mara drove as fast as she could, barely able to keep the vehicle on the road. The swarm of lights closed in from every direction, glowing like white eyes in the desert. Jordan dialed 911, voice trembling. "Please, we're being chased by things we don't know what." The dispatcher's voice was faint through the static. "Slow down. What's your location?" Jordan sobbed. "We don't know. We're somewhere on Route something Mara. What road is this?" But the call distorted, turning into a shrill tone. Then silence. Eli tried his phone. "Dead. Jordan's dead. Mara's dead. Mara's dead." The lights closed in, surrounding the car completely. Eli whispered, "They're hurting us." The highway curved left. Mara's hands shook uncontrollably as she turned with it. Then she saw it, a giant shape waiting in the middle of the road, tall as a billboard, limbs too long swaying gently, eyes or lights glowing with a harsh white glare. The smaller lights gathered around it like children returning to a parent. Jordan screamed, "Turn around!" Mara tried, but something hit the car hard. The vehicle spun, flipping twice before slamming into the dirt. Glass shattered. Metal crumpled. Everything went silent. A moment later, Mara's door was slowly pulled open. A bright white light washed over her face. Her final words recorded in the wrecked car's voice memo. "App were found 2 days later." A whisper. "They weren't lights. They were eyes." Search teams never found the creatures, but highway workers still report strange white orbs floating along that stretch of road. And sometimes they say the lights follow them home.